Today we're going to learn MVC. Using MVC Entity Framework and ASP Scaffolding, you can create a web application that provides an interface to an existing database. This tutorial shows you how to automatically generate code that enables users to display, create, delete, and edit data that resides in the database table. The generated code corresponds to the column in the database table. This part of the series focuses on creating a web application and generating data model based on your database. Create a new project in Visual Studio and select ASP.NET Web Applications and name it as whatever name suits you, and then click OK. In the new ASP.NET project windows, select MVC templates and then click OK. This project creates with the default file and folder. In my case, I didn't have MSQL, therefore I used SQL Server database that comes with the Visual Studio. It's very similar to the SQL. In your case, you may have created a data SQL. So if you check my data, it's empty. So now I right click, add new item, select the first one, SQL data server, give a suitable name, and click add. Now you added a new database, but there is no tables in there. Therefore, we have to create a table for this database. As you were, if you already created tables, you can continue from here. In our case, we don't have tables, so we have to add a new table. Depends on your machine, this may take a while. Now we created the table, but it's not completed, so therefore we have to add some columns, which could be a schedule ID, which is an integer, and also we need to add booking date, which will be date and time, but small date and time. And we also have to change the name of the table to suit the name that we need. So the name of the table will be booking. And then we update it. Now we have successfully created our first table. Once we created our first table, then we can now create the modules. Remember, you will now create an entity framework models from the database table. These modules are classes that you can use to work with the data. Each module mirrors a table in the database and contain a property that corresponds to the columns in the table. Right click on the module folder and then select add and then click new. In add new item windows, select data in the left, AD, and then give it a proper name. And when select, from there you can select the database that you wanted or that you wish. But in our case, we use that data, we're happy with it. But in your case, you can check which data suits you, and then you can click next. From here, you have to select the tables that you wanted to be controlled. So in our case, we need all the tables that contains in there. We only have one table so far, so we click on finish. Now we created the modules, so we need to create scaffolding. Remember, if you try to create scaffolding directly, it's going to show you an error. This is just a warning. You need to click OK twice. And if you want the controller to work, you need to build or rebuild this project. If you don't do that, it's going to show an error. I'm going to show you now. So if we just go to the controller, right click, add, and then we try to select the first one and add the second one, and then click add. What happened now is it feels like it's working, but it's going to reject. So we select the first one, booking, and now we select our modules and we click add, but it shows us an error. When you see this error, remember you need to cancel this, rebuild the project, because we haven't built it, so we have to build the project. And when the project is built successfully, now we can do the same method that we did now. So right click on controller, add a new, and we select the second one and we click OK. This time it's not going to reject, so we need to select the module that we want and the data that we want, and then we say add. Now what it does is like it gives us the control to create, edit and delete the database, and it's going to generate an automatic page for us. So this is the code that you can play with it, but I would recommend do not play, don't change anything from it, but you can change, or you can see how it's responding. So if we go to the view, that's the controller, this is the module. If we go to the view, index, and then run this, you can actually see that it's created for you this page. So for the first time it may take a while, but what it happened now, it created for you a page that you can create, edit and delete. So let's do our first example. Add an ID, schedule ID and booking, which should be month, date, year. So now we can test the editing. You can do this to the rest of your data, to the rest of your database, and each database that you have, automatically it can generate a page or a site for it, which will be useful. So I wish you all the best. If you have any questions, please ask me in the comments or email me. See you next time. Bye.